Okay, so as of me saying this, it's probably way too late to the party, if you can tell by the title of this video. But I've been playing Far Cry 6. I got it probably a few days after it came out. It was like a week later before I actually got around to having time to play it. And that was 2 weeks ago, I think. And with my upload schedule, I'm probably saying this a couple of months, or at least a month and a half, before you even see this. So, it's probably long past even being relevant in the slightest. But, that's just the way things go. I'm making it anyway because I set the rules. But, as I said, I've been playing Far Cry 6, and I haven't really had much experience with the game beyond, I played New Dawn, which was hated by pretty much everybody I talked to. I thought it was kind of fun, but for the price of the game, I basically just messed around and didn't really play too much of the story. I don't even think I finished it, but it's fun to just mess around with, and so far that's all I've really done in this one. And it's really fun. Also, come I got an FAL now. Also, not important. But I saw the machete, and that's kind of a cool design, and I haven't made a machete since earlier this year, and I thought that kind of like what I want to make. It's basically kind of your typical machete, but a little more stylized and kind of shorter. And, keep with the theme of the game, they have a lot of homemade weapons, which is actually what kind of drew me to the game in the first place. And if you can't tell by my channel, I love building weapons. Mostly blacksmithing, but I built some other stuff too. So, I got this piece of leaf spring, got a junkyard. Kind of fits with the game, which, even if it didn't, that's still what I'd be using because I use junkyard steel. Because, again, that's what I like to do. So, got a chunk of leaf spring here, good stuff. And I'm basically going to forge to my shape. I'll probably go with a very typical shape. I know that it has a gutting hook on the tip of it, a little bit of serration in the back, a couple of fullers going down it, which all that will probably be cut in later because I'm not the guys at forging those. I've never made a gutting hook before. Shouldn't be too hard, but we'll see how it goes. Also, if you can see from the pictures, the scales are slightly smaller than the Tang. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet or not. I mean, I probably will because I've literally used almost blank blades with no handles on them as machetes, and they still work just fine as long as your hands are tough enough. So that's probably what I'll do. But, I'll probably cross that bridge, in 3 or 4 days when I actually get around to doing that. So I'm going to go throw this in the forge and start hammering. now that I have the blade rough forged out, and that's getting ground off. But as you can see, the gun handling stuff still isn't in. That's all going to be cut and ground in. The handle is also, you know, wide. That'll be cut into shape too. Just because, well, I didn't really know a good way to forge it with the way the handle's actually shaped. And with this being as thin as it is, it probably would be almost easier to just grind it than to forge it. So that's what I'm going to do. But the length is about right. If anyone's wondering, no, I didn't find some weird measurements for it. I'm just kind of guesstimating based on a picture I took of the character in-game, because I also found no pictures of it online. So, yeah, I'm just kind of guesstimating on the size, but that's, you know, I don't think it really matters too much. I'm just going with what, you know, feels right. But once I get the shape ground, of course I'm going to grind the flats, because in the game it's used, but not aged, or it's not rough by any means. It's still really good shape. So I can't just leave it rough forged as I usually would for something like that. So I'm going to have to grind it flat, smooth it out and all that stuff, and just kind of let it get used as I, you know, play around with it. Because we all know I'm going to be playing with it. machete blade basically finished. Just needs sharpened because it is very blunt. But I kind of left a lot of it rough, like I was going to smooth it all out, but I like that it kind of gives it a very aged finish. And the one in the game, it's not like exceptionally old. Like you can tell it's a definitely well-kept machete, but it is used. So I kind of want to give it a little bit of a rough look. Although I was trying to chop into a log and I didn't really want to go in even on the spot that I sharpened. But I think I just might need to put a better edge on than just, this little corner right here. So my basic plan for the handle is I'm going to take these wooden scales that I cut. They're cut at an angle just to save wood because I don't have a ton of pieces at the moment and wood's expensive. But I drilled these 3/16 holes, which is the same as the brass rod I'm putting through it. If anyone asks, I did realize that the one in the game uses some sort of screw. I'm guessing they're the type that you screw them into each other. That it's like flatheads on both sides, but it's a weird type of screw. You can kind of find them around here, but they really don't look very nice. They're not meant for knife handles. They're meant for getting stuff made and, well, functioning. So, unfortunately, I'm going to stick with brass pins and hickory because it works fairly well. And, well, from what I'm seeing, not a lot of people are making this machete anyway, so I'll just work with that. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes. I just have a clamp in the vise and just do it with a hand drill. Put JB weld on both sides, put JB weld on my pins, glue it together, and come back tomorrow.